Hi, I'm Venus O'Hara. I make content about holistic self-love, and today I'm going to be making a video about how to create a self-love budget. I've already spoken about a self-love budget on this channel, but I did so under my Toastmasters playlist, which was given in a kind of rehearsed speech format. So today I want to talk about it in a more kind of conversational, relaxed style without any time limits. So I'm so passionate about self-love, and I did create a video a couple of days ago which was very personal about my own self-love struggles and why I think it's so important. So I'm going to be making a lot of content about this topic, which I do believe is the foundation for all kinds of love. But anyway, self-love budget. So the first reason, or the first thing to do if you want to create a self-love budget is to try and track the self-destruction budget. It's incredible how a lot of people don't have a self-love budget, or a kind of a budget for things that are good for them, but they do have a budget for things that are not good for them. Let me tell you a story. Well, 10 years ago, más o menos, more or less, I went down to the bottle bank in my street with a lot of glass bottles to recycle, and those glass bottles were wine bottles, and it occurred to me to actually start adding up the cost of each wine bottle when I put it into the thing, and I was like, oh my god, at the end. Back then wine was a lot cheaper. I have no idea how much wine costs now, but here in Spain you can get decent wine for a decent price. And so I even that back then I was adding up the cost of all these bottles, and I didn't think I drank that much. I drank on a Thursday and on a Saturday. So over a month, I don't know how many bottles there were. There could have been, between 8 and 10. And I was like, at the end, oh my God, I could have had 2 massages for this price. I'd never even had a pedicure at that point in my life, or a manicure. Massages were not part of my lifestyle at all, but I really craved massages. It was something I did once a year for my birthday. So it occurred to me that maybe I was not spending my money on the right things. And I think having a self-love budget is all about changing your priorities. For example, I know people who say, oh, organic food's really expensive, or eating expensive. They go to the cheapest supermarket, and they buy the cheapest food, and that's going into their bodies, and then they'll spend money on a cocktail that's expensive. That for me just doesn't make sense. Why do you have more money for things that are bad for you and less for things that are essential, like eating good food? I do think it's all a question of priorities. So I think it's a good idea to kind of track your spending and realize, which things, what are the things in your spending habits that are bringing joy and health and love to your life. And I think we can. There are definitely things we could eliminate, and there's some of those things could be, some type of subscriptions that you have. Maybe you're not using things like Netflix in a conscious, mindful way, and you're watching violent programs. You know what I mean. So it all depends on how you use the things that you consume as well. Because I have Netflix, but I think it's a great tool for me just to unwind. So I always watch things which are kind of make me feel good. But that's a little sidetrack there. But anyway, I think everyone, if you look at how you're spending your money, you'll always find things which might not be adding value to your life. So it's about reducing those things and then increasing those other things, because if there is money to self-destruct, then there is money to self-love. That's what I think anyway. So the next stage is, after you've reduced your self-destruction budget, is to start small. Well, it depends on your financial capacity, of course. But for me, it started off as a very small, simple thing. I already talked about this the other day. I watched a video about green aventurine crystal, which is a crystal which is associated with gambling. Gambling's not a self-love practice at all, but it was the point is that it's kind of like play money. So I had this green aventurine crystal that I put in a jar, and I put the date of 8 weeks from that moment. And over those 8 weeks, I started to kind of use cash a bit more, and then put my spare cash into this jar. And when the date came, I just had a blowout of just spending this money on things that I considered to be indulgences at the time: going to my favorite restaurant, having my first Reiki session, and receiving Reiki, something which I thought was quite a crazy indulgence at the time. So yeah, it was a really nice practice to kind of get into the practice of fun money, play money, self-love money. So I think that's a good way to start, having maybe a jar of this of cash, and then once a month maybe just doing something nice for yourself, having a pedicure, having a massage, or just buying something that brings you joy and it's going to bring value to your life. But then after, if you have a bigger budget, something that I have started doing, a few years ago now, is I have a self-love bank account. And that's amazing because I have a few hundred in there every month. And that money is just for fun things like going to restaurants, or buying clothes, buying cosmetics, having massages, having pedicures, and trying different beauty treatments. If I have to buy a flight, if I travel somewhere, then that's the budget for those things. And just for my social life, really. And sometimes it has been gym things, like trying different classes of yoga or something like that. So it's really nice to have that separate from, let's say, your everyday needs spending, such as paying the electricity bill or paying your rent. So that there's, you take care of your basic needs in one account, but in the other you've got this there's always going to be money for self-love, and that kind of gets you into this space of just feeling abundant, really. I think it's a good practice for abundance as well. And not part of the self-love budget, but I also, now that I don't have a self-destruction budget, I do buy really good food. I think food is probably my biggest expense at the moment, actually. The kind of the food that I eat. And I do think that's an important thing because I think, food is, it's health, and you can definitely feel the difference when you are eating well. So I think it's worth, if you can, whatever you eat, just getting the best quality of whatever that thing is. And so it's going to taste better. It's going to be better for your health. And an act of self-love, saying that I matter, my health matters, my body matters. And that's wonderful. And from time to time, it's okay to have an indulgence, something that might not be healthy if you do it every day. But in my conversation when I interviewed Dr. Michael Greger, who is the author of How Not to Age, How Not to Die, I asked him about cheat meals, and he said, well, for some people it's breakfast, lunch and dinner, so it's important to have those things, few and far between. So they don't affect your general lifestyle. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you today about creating a self-love budget, because for me it's been something that's been very positive, and it's something I would like to share with the world. Anyway, that's it for my video for today, and if you are interested in my life upgrade meditation, there is a link in the description below if you would like to improve your life. It's 100 affirmations that represent the 12 areas of the life wheel. So those areas include things like money, like love, like family, health, etc. And it's a great starter if you're new to meditation, or if you just like affirmations in general. So that's it for my video for today. And if you have any tips about your self-love spending, don't hesitate to leave a comment below so that we can all learn. And if you have any topics or questions about self-love, holistic self-love, don't hesitate to contact me at venus@venusohara.org, or leave a comment below and I'll be reading and answering all of them. Thanks for watching. Mwah.